Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today's February 8th, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery. You can see our system pushing down across the Pacific Northwest as we speak. But the big story here is this Arctic air mass is going to be moving down across the region as we go on in through the early portion of next week. Mostly a dry intrusion, but it is going to bring some very cold conditions here across Pacific Northwest. And then we have another storm pointed somewhere at the west coast of North America. We'll take a look at the latest on what the weather models show with that system rolling in here. Looking at things right now, you can see we do have some snowfall for some of the outlying areas near Seattle, but the Seattle Metro largely too warm to get accumulating snowfall here this morning. And you can see some of this precipitation now starting to pivot down across western Oregon. Again, too warm for the Willamette Valley as well, but once you get up on some of the higher hilltops, you could get some of that snowfall. We're also going to have some convergent zone activity here across some of the central and southern Puget Sound. You can see some of this moisture moving in for Spokane, eastern Washington. Tri-Cities is right here, although I don't know how much of that is going to be actually accumulating for the Tri-Cities as well. We'll take a look at some of that here. We'll take a look at the Spokane National Weather Service also. We'll take a look at what's coming next week. How cold are we going to get? What are our snowfall chances into the lower elevations? All that good stuff. And if you want to help support the channel, click on the link down below to save 10% off on this very fun weather station here. Great smartphone app, highly recommended. Now, looking out towards Maple Valley here, you can see there is some snow accumulating, maybe some slushy snow on some of the roadways there as well. So, take caution there if you see some of that accumulating. You guys know the drill. But again, right now, the Seattle Metro largely too warm for snowfall. And this is Portland, Oregon. Got the winter weather advisories for the higher terrain, but not the Willamette Valley. But that does include some of the coastal range also. Just kind of a reminder here, National Weather Service Seattle putting out the ice and slow. Take it slow. You guys know the drill. Clean off your vehicle before driving if we do end up getting any heavy snowfall over the next week or so, or if you live off in the mountains. Now, taking a look at Saturday, early Sunday snow. So here goes some of that activity. Look at Pullman, Lewiston, 2 to 3, 1 to 2, light to moderate snow. This starts this afternoon and goes through 4 a.m. on Sunday morning. Generally light amounts for Ritzville, Spokane, Davenport, but heavier amounts the further you go east. You can see Kellogg checking in at 1 to 2 inches as well. Winchester, 2 to 3. Walla Walla, generally less than an inch, but some of the higher terrain, the Blue Mountains, could be getting snowfall also. Now, I wanted to point something out. This is looking at the ocean surface temperatures. This is not an anomaly, and this is last year's El Nino. This is during January. You can see we've got some warm water out across the Pacific Ocean, and you can see the Western Pacific tends to hog all that warm water. The current generally takes all the sun surface heated water and pushes it off to the west there, but it's the anomaly out here that matters across the central Pacific Ocean. So if I scroll all the way through the summertime, you can see that tongue of cooler water start to move out across some of the equatorial Pacific Ocean. That was our La Nina setting up. And we go off in towards January of this year. And again, you can kind of see how temperatures are cooler. And again, it's a temperature anomaly that makes a difference because the heat builds up even more and the contrast is even more versus the Eastern Pacific Ocean and the Western Pacific. And of course, that changes Rossby wave train configuration and ridges and troughs downstream that can affect many places across the entire planet because, the Pacific Ocean is the biggest planet on Earth. So if we take a look at the temperature anomaly, you can clearly see that we're below normal across the equatorial Pacific. We're probably going to be a La Nina when all is said and done. We measure those conditions between 120 and 170 west, and you can see some of the cooler conditions there at times off the coast of South America showing some upwelling was occurring here over the last 30 days or so. So anyway, back to the forecast here. Let's take a look at what is going on. 500 millibars, 18,000 feet, European on the left, GFS on the right. We'll put this into motion and you see the ridge amplify over Alaska, cold north flow. There goes our dry Arctic air intrusion right there. So that's going to bring some very cold air down over the region. But then what happens after that is the big question. You see the storm development taking place as we go through the day Wednesday and start to move towards the coastline as we go through Thursday morning. So the track of that low is going to mean everything because the cold air is going to be there. If that moisture gets up over Portland, Seattle, you could have some interesting conditions here, and that includes Southwest BC as well. But some of the models have been showing this storm driving way south towards California. Some of it show back up towards Oregon, which would spread precipitation further north. You see pretty good model agreement on somewhere near the California-Oregon border, but we will be watching that because it's still a little bit far off into the future, 120 hours plus right now on where this is going to make landfall. Now, if we take a look at precipitable water anomaly, so I'll put this into motion and you'll see there goes the weak system we're dealing with now. But look at this cold, dry air mass just really push out over the region. So that puts the cold air in place. Moisture streams into California, and then our mid-latitude cyclone moves somewhere into northern California, Oregon. You see the moistening of the air mass there. Again, yeah, that low is going to mean everything here, folks. It could just skirt off to the south and miss Seattle and Portland, or, we get a little bit of trend back north with that system, and it could easily bring a significant snowfall into the lower elevations. So if we take a look at last night's European model, there's the system we're dealing with now. And by the way, we're going to have some convergent zone activity as we go through the day today. I'll show you that here in a minute. Some snows for the Blue Mountains, Idaho, as you see, as we wrap up through tomorrow, still continuing some of those snow showers. But then we bring that dry Arctic air across the region, and I say it's a dry intrusion, but it might kick off a couple showers here as we go through the day Monday. But then we get that cold, dry air in there. Storm systems start to move into California, then our low moves there, and this could create some interesting weather here for some of the Willamette Valley. Also on the north side of that low could be some snowfall setting up there, but look at that, misses Seattle and largely misses Portland on this run as well. So lots to watch over the next few days. Let's take a look at what the GFS is. There goes our system rolling across the region. There goes the Arctic intrusion here, and it could kick off some precipitation with that. Precipitation starts to stream into California. What does the mid-latitude cyclone do here? You can see it set up right across some of northern California and portions of western Oregon. Again, it could be an interesting snowfall band on the north side of that. Really got to watch the track of that low. Now, looking at the GFS, so I want to show you something going on here. We'll start to scroll off in towards Monday. You see the Fraser River outflow, the offshore winds here across western Washington, Oregon, as this Arctic air mass makes its way in. The Okanagan River Valley is another cold air conduit to the interior BC. There's the Purcell Trench going on. Very cold Arctic air gets into place, and you can see it flowing offshore as the next system starts to arrive as we go through the day Thursday. So again, the track of that is going to mean everything. And then if that storm misses us here, we're still going to be pretty chilly, but the problem is this next storm is all the way up towards the Gulf of Alaska. So these southerlies are going to come in here and start to scour and work on this Arctic air mass, even in advance of the precipitation. So it's much more unlikely that this next storm system would bring a significant snowfall event into the lower elevations. It would start to warm things up. And then after that, we start to look at a more typical pattern, southwest flow, as we start to warm up into the second half of February potentially. Now, looking at composite reflectivity, I do want to go over the chances as we go through the day today. Again, too warm for Seattle and for the Willamette Valley for snowfall, but some of the outlying areas, especially across western Washington, getting some snow this morning. And then the convergence zone kind of sets up here. You could get snow pelts at that. There's even an outside chance for maybe a lightning strike with that convergence zone activity as we go through this afternoon. And then you see the showers continue on for eastern portions as well. The low kind of hanging out with some showers as we go through Sunday night. And then that dry air Arctic intrusion starts to roll across the region. I'll show you that here in a moment. But we'll take a look at the winds here first. There's that surface low we're dealing with now. And then you can even see on the high resolution NAM, we're within 52 hours of this next event. There's the Fraser River outflow kind of rolling down the area, Okanagan River Valley, Purcell Trench. We're getting that Arctic air pouring back out into the Pacific Northwest on the day Monday, and this will show you just how dry it is. There goes our weak system, and then look at that. Boom, just starts to flow back over the area. Fun stuff. Now, if we take a look at the HRRI, it also shows these showers out and about today. Again, some of that snowfall, Pullman, Lewiston out there, Idaho, Blue Mountains, portions of eastern Oregon as well. And then you can see that convergence zone kind of setting up there across some of the central and southern Puget Sound as we go through the day today. Wouldn't rule out a snow shower there and maybe an outside chance of a lightning strike with that activity as we go through this afternoon. Now, Spokane, look at the national blend of models as they go through the upcoming week. Look at how chilly this air mass is setting up over the area. So yeah, be prepared for these overnight lows. Very cold, perhaps even getting down towards 0 Fahrenheit. And Seattle, Tacoma, very cold again. Some of the outlying areas are going to be into the teens as we go through next week as well. Snohomish County, Painfield Airport, still pretty close to the sound there, but very chilly overnight lows. Bellingham down into the teens as well. Portland International Airport down into the low 20s. And I should point that out for Bellingham also that, you're going to be in the teens, but the Fraser River outflow is going to be below, and so it's going to feel even much colder with the wind chill factors going on. Now, looking at the national blend of models. So we're taking a look at what's going on here today, and then we scroll off Get the Arctic areas in place, then this moisture starts to approach the west coast of North America, and you still see it does have the potential for some of western Oregon, even up towards some of western Washington as the next system comes in. So again, we got to watch that track very carefully. With the cold air in place, it would not take much to bring some significant snowfalls into the lower terrain. But look at California just getting plastered here with this precipitation as we go on in through next week. That's, largely beneficial here, especially to Southern California, although Northern California is looking at some flooding concerns if something like that happens as well. And if we look at the National Weather models, just kind of driving home the point on how dry and cold we're going to be. Look, as we go into Monday and Tuesday, look at that very dry air mass just take hold over the Pacific Northwest. Get your chapstick and your Carmex out. Now, looking at daily 2-meter minimum temperature. So this is for Sunday morning. Seattle 31, Portland 28. Here you can see the very cold air up across Alberta, British Columbia, Eastern Washington, Oregon, pretty chilly. There's Monday morning's lows, 26, 23 for Portland. And look, by the time we get to Tuesday, Spokane could get below 0 Fahrenheit. Seattle 21, Portland 21, very cold air across the region. And it's possible you get some of the outlying areas, even across some of western Washington, might get below 10 degrees Fahrenheit. And there's Wednesday morning, again, very cold, especially east of the mountains. And then we go Thursday, Friday, and we start to get back towards more normal temperatures at the very end of the run here. So if you don't like this cold and snowy weather across the area, just hold on until the end of next week. And as we go into the following week, second half of February looks better at this point. Here's the 6 to 10 day below normal, west coast below normal. There's the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook above normal, 8 to 14 day and 8 to 14 day as well. And then we got the experimental product there, risk of heavy snow for moderate risk for some of the Cascades all the way down through California. So that'll be nice to see. Hopefully we can build up that snowpack as we go on in towards the later winter period and on in towards spring. But yeah, anyway, I'll kick this video out. I wanted to get an early start on things here today. Hope you guys are having a good day. Otherwise, click like and subscribe. We'll do this all again either later today or tomorrow. I'll check out the weather models. If they show something interesting, I may come back tonight, or I may do a live stream or something, depending on what is going on with the convergence zone this afternoon and evening as well. So anyway, I will talk to you guys later.